Hello magical beings, it's Beck and this is my channel Emerald Moon. How's everybody's week been? My goodness, my week has been quite crazy for me, and I was a little bit surprised with Mercury going direct and Jupiter going direct. I didn't think that this week was going to be so hectic, but it is what it is. So I was watching Little Cosmic Crow's channel the other day. She was doing a shout out to other witchy channels as a video response to Kelly and Maddox's shout out to other up and coming witches coming through and their channels, which I thought was incredibly beautiful and supportive of our community. And in the beginning of her video, Little Cosmic, she's so gorgeous, and she says, and she apologized for not having her makeup on. And I just wanted to let everybody know that I don't watch any channels because their makeup is on, or their hair is perfect, or you know, their eyebrows are on fleek, or whatever the kids are saying these days. I watch the channels so I feel connected to the community. So Little Cosmic Crow, I'm not wearing any makeup either in honor of you, and you are a gorgeous, gorgeous girl, darling witch, and you're beautiful just the way you are. So I wanted to talk to you guys about what I have been up to over June and July. It's been winter here in Australia, and I've been deep introspection and doing shadow work over June and July. It was, to be honest, really hard to get right down there in the black, sticky, oozy muck of myself and pull out something that's so ugly. Yes, it's been hard. It's been really rewarding. And I'm really glad I did it. Even before I started on this witch path, I had realized that this is a time for me to really reflect. And in the previous 3 years, I've really fought that feeling. Fighting against it made it much worse, made it a much harder time to bear. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the cold. I love the cold. I would rather be cold than hot, for sure. I am not a heat person, and fire is definitely my shadow element. But this year I decided to really embrace that energy and really go within, and what I got out of it was illuminating and horrifying and beautifully horrifying. I wanted to talk about that because there's a lot of things that not only did I acknowledged. And the catalyst for that would be that I walked away from a 8-year relationship. I was in a relationship with somebody who needed help that was beyond, far, far beyond my capabilities. And they needed professional help and would not acknowledge or could not acknowledge or accept that that is what they needed. As hard as it was, I had to make the self-loving decision to walk away from that relationship. Logically, I know I did the right thing. Emotionally, it's hard to accept the guilt that goes with it, with that decision. And I was really angry with myself. How could I have ended up in the exact same situation? Like, how could I let that happen? I needed to explore that and heal from that. And the things that the deep, dark, shadowy things that were there lurking, I didn't even realize while I was going through feeling the anger of the end of that relationship. Did a lot of grieving, like ugly grieving, lots of ugly crying from the sheer frustration of everything. And I was angry that I felt that I had to do my crying at home, away from the eyes of the world, because society dictates that the ugly emotions like, grief and crying and sadness are not emotions that you're supposed to display in public. And you have to go home to your crawl space and you have to wait until you're out of sight and do it there. And I was really angry about that. Many people told me that I had to get over it, that I had to move on, that there were people worse off than what I was. And I felt really alone. And I felt like society was to blame for that, because we don't have the skills or the knowledge on how to deal with those things that are very much day-to-day life for people, and that they are human emotions, and that those shadowy emotions have to be suppressed or hidden away. I've never been a follower of society's rules, and everybody looked at me like I was a crazy person, which is fine. I am, and I own it. I probably didn't for a really long time, but that's okay. I'm just mean, and I realize that, and that's fine. So knowing that shadow aspect of myself, that I'm not saying that I am above the rules of society. I'm simply saying that the way that society expects us to fit in a box, to be a robot, to fall in line, to follow what the social norms are without question, that is what I have a problem with. Those kind of things really trigger me, probably because most of the time, they don't fit me. I don't think I'm a good fit for society. And a lot of the time that makes me look like, like I'm a crazy person, like my thoughts and opinions are out of the box, they're left field. I've been told I'm very random. I wanted to talk about this particular section of my shadow work because I was watching a live video on Avalon Cameron's YouTube channel, and I'll put the link below for you if you want to check it out. She was talking about young witches in the community who are coming through, don't feel welcomed into our community, or have a lot of fear around being judged. I thought that was really sad. And it's especially sad to hear that that is happening, especially in our Australian witch community, when Australia was built on mateship. That's one of our cultural values, is the mateship that we have in Australia. And as I was watching this in my car, in the car park, I could hear my heart beating. Like, this was really triggering me. I was getting really, really angry that somebody, or that people had the audacity to dump their crap onto others who are trying to find their feet in a community that, we call ourselves spiritual. Those people might want to have a think about what that means. But I was getting really riled up, and I thought, what can I do to support this community that I love? I love being a witch. That's what gets me fizzy. That's what gets me excited. It gives me energy. It enriches my life so much. I love it. And what makes them think that they have the right to talk to somebody like that, to treat somebody like that? And just like my anger and frustration over society trying to pigeonhole people, I need to look like a crazy lady to be able to, pierce that and say, no, I will not do that, because I will not set the precedent for everybody else, and especially our young ones, because I'm a mother, especially our young ones having to shape themselves in a certain way to fit what society deems is normal. It hasn't worked. Look where we are. Look at the state of mental health. I've been through a mental health breakdown, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. That it was an absolute harrowing experience. It's not completely for me to step back. We're all part of society. We're all part of the bigger picture. We're all part of the collective. We're all part of this community, whether we're online or in a coven or solitary. We all make up this community. And I thought to myself, what can I do to play my part to change what, rather than just being outraged. And that led me back to what was coming through me from the shadow work that I was doing. And I have my shadow work folder, and I actually, looking back over my notes, what Avalon was saying really resonated with what I wanted to do, to reach out to the community, but I wasn't really sure how. I'm not going to read specifically from my journal entry, but if you see me glancing down, I'm just skimming over some of the points that I made. So even though I am still considered new to the magical path, and maybe that's what stopped me in the first place, because I thought, who am I? Like, who am I to put my opinions or thoughts out into the community, being just started on my journey? But who am I not? You know, if there are people in our magical community who need someone to advocate for them, I will advocate for them. I will hold their hand and put my foot down and say, no, it's not okay. I cannot stand by and see another being hurting. And who would say that they're part of this community and would want to inflict that onto somebody? So what I came up with is to say that even though my magical path is still unfolding for me, I would like to hold space for you here. I am human. I am a woman. I am a parent. I am a mental health sufferer. I have suffered from chronic back pain. I have been through divorce. I have loved. I am most definitely not perfect. And just like everybody else, I have experienced the highs and lows of life. And just like you, I'm trying to figure it out too. So I light this candle for you, and I want you to know that where you are right now is beautiful, and who you are right now is beautiful, perfect, and unfolding every moment. We are all blossoming, and we are all fabulous, and we are all magical. And I'm sending out my love and blessings to everybody. So with all that said, thank you very much for watching, and be kind to one another.